Hey, hi all. In this video, we will discuss about what are expressions in Apex. So let's start. So what is an expression? Expressions are made up of variables, operators, and method invocations that evaluates to a single value. A literal expression, for an example, 10 plus 10. So whenever we write something after equal to operation, so the value of that particular calculation or that particular method will return a value that will be stored in another value which is in the left side of that particular equal to expression. So that evaluation is known as an expression. A new S object, Apex object list, set, map, or for example, we can create instance of new list, new set, new map, or new remaining classes, anything. We use equal to operation to create a, uh, operator equal to operator to create an instance of any type like list set map. So that equal to is like it is calculating that thing. That's why it's an expression. SOQL and or SOSL query surrounded by square brackets allowing for one on the fly evaluation in Apex. For example, account A, select ID from account where name equal to LKM. So the select ID from account where the name is equal to LKM will return the values which is stored in A. So it's an expression to return a particular value. So expression operators are first is assignment operator, then we have addition assignment operator adds the value of y to the original value of x and then reassigns the new value to x. In the same way, we have multiplication assignment operator multiplies the value of y. So this multiplies the value of y with the original value of x and then reassigns the new value to x, because the evaluation of this particular expression will be a result of x, or will result in the will evaluate the value for that particular x, the new value. Then we have subtraction assignment operator, which will subtract the value of y from x and it will reassign the value to x. Then we have division assignment operator. So we have all these operators are assignment operators because they are assigning the value which is coming out from that calculation in the right hand side to the left hand side variable. It might be x in this case, it might be any variable name. Then we have OR assignment operator. If x a boolean and y a boolean are both false, then x remains false. Otherwise, x is assigned the value of true, x and y can't be null. Because if any value is null, then there cannot be any evaluation or comparison between the two. Then AND assignment operator. If x and y both are true, then it will be true, otherwise it will be false. Then we have bitwise shift left assignment operator. It will shift each bit in x to the left by y bits so that the high order bits are lost and the new right bits are set to 0. Then we have bitwise shift right signed assignment operators. Shift each bit in x to the right by y bits so that the low order bits are lost and the new bit are set to 0 for positive values of y. Then we have bitwise shift right unassigned assignment operator. It will shift each bit in x to the right by y so that the low order bits are lost and the new bits are set for 0. So this is the expression which we majorly use x comma y, x question mark y semicolon, it's colon z. Ternary operator, right associative. This operator acts as a shorthand for if then else statements. If x a boolean value is true, y is the result, otherwise z is the result. X and y, so it's an and logical operator. If x and y both are true, then the expression evaluates to true, otherwise expression evaluates to false. Now we have OR logical operator. If X or Y both are false, then it will be false. Otherwise, if one of them is true, it will be true. Then we have equal to, that is equality operator. If X is equal to Y, the expression evaluates to true, otherwise false. Then we have exact equality operator, where we use 3 equal to. If X and Y references the same exact location in the memory, the expression evaluates to true, otherwise the expression evaluates to false. Then we have less than operator, which we are very aware of. Then we have greater than operator. Then we have less than or equal to operator. And then we have greater than or equal to operator. This is very specific to your business logic when you try to implement, like what will be the range of that number. It will hold the less than, or it will hold till that particular value. Then you will use less than or equal to, so that that particular value will be in your check range. Next we have inequality operator. As we all are aware of, exact inequality operator, if it is not in the same memory location, then it will return false. Then we have addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division operator, which we are aware of. Logical complement operator inverts the value of boolean so that true becomes false and false becomes true. Yeah, negation. Then we have unary negation operator, multiplies the value of X, an integer or double, by -1. The positive equivalent plus is also syntactically valid but doesn't have a mathematical effect. Then we have increment operator, which we are very aware of. Post increment, pre increment, then post decrement and pre decrement operators. Then we have bitwise AND operator, bitwise OR operator. Then we have bitwise exclusive OR operator and bitwise exclusive OR operator with equality or assignment. Then we have bitwise shift left operator, bitwise shift right signed operator, bitwise shift right unassigned operator, bitwise NOT or complement operator that will negate the values down. Then we have parenthesis evaluates the precedence of an expression X so that it's evaluated first in a compound expression. So it is the priority. So first priority in an expression is parenthesis, then multiplication and division, then subtraction and addition. Then we have safe navigation operator. It is short circuit expression that attempt to operate on a null value and returns null instead of throwing a null pointer exception. If the left hand side of the chain expression evaluates to null, the right hand side of the chain expression isn't evaluated. Then we have comments. To create a single line comment, use this forward slash. I'm not very sure of it's a forward slash, yeah, but that is what we use. All characters on the same line to the right of the this forward slash are ignored by the parsers. For example, integer I equal to 1. This is a comment. This can be ignored by the parser. Then to create a multiple comment or multi-line comment, use forward one slash and then asterisk or star, you can say, and then star. For closing that also we have to use the same. Then integer I, this is a comment, can wrap over multiple lines without getting interrupted by the parser. So this is that thing. Okay. So next we have assignment statements. An assignment statement is in any statement that places a value into a variable. A simple variable, for example, integer I equal to 1, so 1 will be assigned to I. Account equal to new account, so new account value will be assigned to E. Then a dereference list element, for example, we have defined one list and then we are trying to put values in that particular list. So at 0th location in that list, I want one value, so I will do this thing. Then in accounts, I want to set the name of the account which is in the 0th location to Acme. Then we can write in this manner. So it is like we are dereferencing it, or the dereference list elements we are using. And a subject field reference that the context user has permission to edit. For example, account A, new account, and then we are creating the new account instance, and then we are inserting the account with the fields which are very required to create a record in Salesforce. Then we are inserting it's a DML statement. In the same manner, we are creating an instance for contact record, and then we are updating that stuff. Assignment is always done by reference. For example, account equal to new account, and then account B, account C equal to new account A dot name acme. So it's a reference of that particular thing which is in the right, which will be stored in the left variable which we have assigned, or which to whom we are assigning to. Similarly, two lists can point at the same value in memory. For example, account of a new account. In that new account, we are again passing the new account. So it's like we are creating instance, and then also we are creating instance in that particular instance. Then account of 0, the name will be acme. So that's how you can create this instance of that particular object. Moving ahead, we will talk about control flow statements. As its name suggests, how we can control the flow of that particular data, or like the business logic, how we can control that. So first, we are very well aware of we have conditional statements, that is if else, then we have switch statements, then we have some of the loops. So Apex provides if else statements, switch statements, and loops to control the flow of code execution. With control flow statements, you can make Apex code execute based on a certain condition, or have a block of code execute repeatedly. Okay. So next we have conditional if-else statements. So first we will talk about if-else statements. As we all are aware of, if this is true, then do this, else check another condition, else if check another condition, then else. If not, none of the condition is true, just do the else stuff. So that's how this if-else condition works. The conditional statement in Apex works similarly to Java. If the Boolean expression is true, do statement 1, else statement 2. Repeated else if statements are also allowed. For example, if place equal to 1, then gold. Else if place equal to 2, gold color is silver. Else if place is 3, color is bronze. Else if there is a fifth place, then the color will be null, because you will not, or the participant will not get any medal. So that's why. The else portion is always optional and always groups with the closet if. For example, integer x sign, if x less than equal to 0, if x is equal to 0, sign equal to 0, else sign equal to -1 is equivalent to integer x sign your code. If x is less than 0, if x is equal to 0, then sign 0, else sign equal to -1. So if it is 1 or if it is 2, that is not less than, that is not equal to 0. So in that, if that is the case, it will be -1, or -1 will be returned in that case. Then we have switch statements. For example, switch statements, we have Apex provides a switch statement that tests whether an expression matches one of several values and branches accordingly. For an example, we have switch on expression. If the value of that expression is 1, then code block 1 will be executed. If the value is 2, then code block 2 will be executed. If the value is 3, then the code block 3 will be executed. If it is not 1, 2, 3, then the code block 4 will be executed. Apex switch statement expressions can be one of the following types: integer, long, a subject string, or enum. The following example explains the integer literals for when values. So switch on I. If the value of I equal to 2, then the code block 2 will be executed. If the value of I will be -3, evaluated to -3, then the code block -3 will be executed. If it is not 2 or -3, if it is 1, then else part will be executed. Null value example, in some of the cases, if we have not defined for an example, we have written integer I, just we have declared it, and then we are using that into switch statement. So the value of I at that particular instance is null. So we have to if we want to handle that null condition or handle that particular null stuff, if the value of that particular variable is null and we want to do some business logic on it, or we want to assign some particular value to it, then we can use in this manner. For an example, switch on I when the value is 2, then the block 2 will be executed when it is null. If the value of I is null, then this bad integer value, that system debug will run. If the value is not null and not 2, then the else part will run. Multiple values examples. For an example, the switch on I, we can have value 2, 3 or 4. If it is evaluated to 2, if it is evaluated to 3 or 4, then this particular block or the business logic will run. If it is evaluated to 5 or 6, then this particular block will run. If it is 7, then this particular block will run. So the main purpose of multiple values is if it is if you are very sure of, or it is very deterministic that this is the expected value or this is the expected value range, then you can specify multiple statements like when 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, any number of things by comma separation. So that particular logic will implement or it will run accordingly. And if it is not 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7, means like if the value of I is equal to 1, then the else statement will run and the business logic which is written in that particular block will run. Next, we have example with S object. So this in the same manner, if a subject instance of account, if it is account, then this particular logic will run. If it is not account, then else part will run. In the same manner, else if it is not account, then if it is contact, then the contact logic will run. Otherwise, if it is not account and contact, if we are working on opportunity object, then else part will run. So we can easily replace this thing by using switch statement. So switch on S object. If it is account, then just run that particular logic, this logic. If it is contact, then this logic. If it is null, then this logic. And if it is not account, not contact, not null, then this logic will be run, or it will run. So example with enum. So for an example, we have a enum creation. Enum we have created, and in that we have given the season name like winter, spring, summer. So in that, if the value is winter, then do this stuff. If the value is spring or summer, then do this stuff. And if it is not spring, summer, or winter, then it will run in the else condition. So each and every switch statement will have else condition, so that if that particular condition never meets, like it is not null, it is not according to the deterministic value, then it will go to else and it will run that particular else code. So now we will talk about loops. So loops, Apex supports 5 types of procedural loops, that is do while, then we have while, then we have for. There are multiple flavors of for loop, like for each loop is there. Then we have the basic loop which we use for we initialize the value, then we do that exit condition we check, and then we can increment that. And the for condition for loop we can use in the inline SOQL query. It means like we will query the data in that particular for loop, so each and every record we can work on. All loops allow for loop control structures. Break, continue. Break means exit the entire loop. Continue means skips the next iteration of the loop. Do while loop, then we have while loop, and then for loops. Do while loop, as its name suggests, do something, then check while the condition is this. So at any instance, this will first check it will not first check the condition, it will run that particular stuff and then it will check the condition. Okay, the Apex do while loop repeatedly executes a block of code as long as a particular condition remains true. Its syntax is do this code block and then check the condition. Apex do while loops does not check the Boolean condition statement until after the first loop is executed. So the first loop will be executed, and after that only it will check that particular condition, because we have the condition at the end of that first block. Consequently, the code block always runs at least once. Yeah, because the condition or the this while the check we have we have at the end. That's the reason. While loops. So the apex while loop repeatedly executes a block of code as long as a particular condition remains true. Its syntax is while the condition then the code block. Unlike do while, the while loop checks the boolean condition statement at the first. Consequently, it is possible for the code block to never execute. If that condition doesn't meet, it will not run. So in this case, integer count equal to 1, while 1 is less than 11, so it will run. If it is while 1 is greater than 11, so it's the false condition, so it will not run, and it will never run. But in the do while loop, it will run once. Okay. Then we have for loops. Apex supports three variations or the flavors for the for loop. The traditional for loop is for initialization like integer I, then we have semicolon, then we have I less than 5, then we have I plus plus. So it will increment, it will first check what is the assignment or what is the initialization of that particular thing. If it is integer I equal to 1, okay. If 1 is less than 5, yes, 1 is less than 5, it will increment that and it will run that particular logic. The list for set iteration for loop. For variable, we are very well aware of like how we use this particular thing, like for variable name. So it can be anything like account means s object or account or anything, and then we have to pass the same type of list or strings to it to assign that particular value. The SOQL for loop is for variable, then SOQL query code block, then we have variation to it. It can be list, it can be a single variable, it can be a list, it cannot, yeah, it will be a list because we can set the values in list only of SQL. So that's all for this. In the coming videos, we will look more on the loops and the conditional statements and the expressions, how we can use in the developer console. So stay tuned. Thank you. Have a nice day.